So now when the daughter who has been taught this all her life that, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z because I'm a girl, you know? Now that she grown and now
Yeah.
you know what? I'm sick of people trying to tell me what to do. It's my body. It's my choice. I can do what I want. Blah, 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 blah. Now she's doing what the boys is doing. And she's doing too much. She's this, she's that. See, if we would have nipped it in the bud when they was a kid, it would have been all right.
Well, women cheat too. Y'all just smarter. Like y'all do better with covering it up too. Women like to have sex just as much as men. Y'all just don't say it. But then once it's out there,
Right.
then you want to tell me that you need to cover it up.
If everybody just live according to the Bible, we'll all be fine. If everybody just
For
keep
real.
their things in their clothes, we'll be
That
better off.
part. But
I was saying that I would have went through 4 setups. Did you hear me say that? I done said it 5 times.
yeah, I heard you now. I mean, I was doing I was editing and I was like, not only has our backgrounds changed, but then like your hair changed. It was just like, of course,
Oh,
I know some changes,
oh
so like
yeah.
I recognize more. But I was like, this is crazy.
My
Then my
hair
stuff,
changed 3 times.
yeah. So it was just really interesting. I was like, interesting. I
It's
wonder
like
if anybody
when she
else.
first started. No, what's crazy is if we would have started when when we first recorded our first video, I had braids then. So that would have
Oh
been one
yeah,
hairstyle. Then I just went natural and I was wearing a curly or straight. It was black. Then I went blonde and then I cut it.
at this
Hey,
point,
yeah, like,
it's just like find Waldo.
right. Who is Destiny going to be this week? But anyways, hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the You're Done podcast. It's your girl, Big Desto. That's the little one. And
And it's be more, nevertheless.
we are back with some more content for y'all. We got another episode. And this week, our topic is coming from Be More, Nevertheless, number 1. Brittany is Be More, Nevertheless, number 2. Because she wouldn't be more without this Be More. Her
That
husband gave us this topic.
That's true. So Brie and I was sitting around. Well, I wish I could remember what was going on the TV, but either way, at the time we were discussing something we were watching, and then it led into us having like this discussion. He was like, "Well, it's just like a double standard," and I was like, "But I don't think that that's fair," And
Mm.
okay, I remember what it was. We were watching TV, but Megan Thee Stallion "Lover Girl" song came out. And y'all, if you have, I mean, by the time this come out, y'all definitely should have seen everything she done posted
Girl.
about this song. But it was just very raunchy. And I mean, take it that she twerks all the time. It wasn't like a shocker, but I just felt like she just took it. Like the fact that her lady was out in the camera made me uncomfortable as a
Oh, I
lady.
ain't see all that.
Yeah. So like when she does her little thing, like the camera is kind of like zooming in on her, downstairs. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
okay. So it's a bit much. But we just kind of got into this topic so I told Destiny and she was like, I think that'll be a great topic. So today
Right.
we are talking about double standards.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially with like celebrities, it's like one of those things that's like, it's like I'm not gonna say a more common thing, but it's easily like, not acknowledgeable, but it's easier to point it out. Like, oh, like Bree said, just watching a simple video, he was able to say, oh, that's a double standard. But at the same time, I just feel like, I mean, this ain't got nothing to do with double standards, but baby, I thought you was a lover girl. Why is we throwing our vagina in our booty? But anyway, anywho, I do feel like because when Brittany told me the topic, it was crazy because I was on the phone with Corey, and he had said something about like it was a post. A girl made a post, and she said normalize, and I'm not verbatim, but normalize telling raising your sons to not believe Imma get it right. Normalize raising your sons to believe that cooking and cleaning is not it is, what she say? It's basically like something that you need to survive, and it's not a gender role, right? It's a basic
Yeah,
need, like basic need, basically. Like it meets your basic
yeah.
need anyway. And so, and it's some a guy got into the comments and was like, normalize teaching your daughters how to cut the grass because that is, baby. I don't need to know how to cut the grass to survive. I'm
At all, because I may
I,
live in an apartment.
right, exactly. But I get like me and Corey were like, I get what he was trying to do, but the execution was poor. And so
Horrible.
like I'm not cutting the grass. I don't care. The thing is I have cut grass before because I just wanted to do it. Like, oh yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm not one of those girls that's like, oh, I don't have to learn how to do that. That's a man's thing. I don't gotta learn it. But I'll go
yeah.
do it, but that don't mean that's my chore. Like, I'm not cutting the grass, I'm sorry. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't need to do that. And
Yeah.
most of the time, the woman does cook, but, like, for
Mhm.
example, me in this situation right now, I be tired. So, it's either we gonna blow through our money on DoorDash, or you can go in there and put some chicken in the oven. W
Right.
Does that make me look at you like you less than? No, that's showing that you're helping me out. Same way that if something's going on with you and then I pick up your slack, like taking out the trash. Now I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know the last time I done took out the trash. Why? Because I have a
Oh,
husband who gets mad when I take it out. So now I just look at it
right.
like,
Okay, but wait, but
well,
that's
I guess
different than, what's the topic? That's different than gender.
double standard.
Double standards. That's gender roles, right? So maybe those 2 don't match. But the
Yeah.
point is, I feel like a lot of the times, especially with society now, like men wanna be the girl, the girls wanna be the boy, and it's hard to decipher what are we even doing anymore. But I feel like when it comes to it's big when it comes to, like, over sexualizing stuff. Like, that's what you were saying, Bree was saying, like,
Well, yeah.
"Oh, like, what's wrong with Megan getting on the internet and doing what she been doing since 2017? I don't know, 2016 since she became popular. Not 2016, girl, 2018 maybe. But I'm like, I don't know. And before a man can get on like and say, "Oh, I f all the," you know they be saying, and then but it's cool. And so yeah, that's not the same thing as gender roles, but I feel like sometimes men try to keep a woman in a box by saying this is what you're supposed to be doing. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to get at, but it's not the same. So let's just stick to the gender role. I mean, the double standards, and we'll be back next week with the gender roles.
But then but then I have a question because sometimes I feel like, especially with the double standard, that women nowadays, even though Lil Kim been doing it, right? But I
Right.
feel like it's coming more to the surface, I guess, because we have been placed in this box for so long. So then it's just kind of like, because I feel like men will say, "Well, women cheat too. Y'all just smarter, like y'all do better with covering it up too." Women like to have sex just as much as men. Y'all just don't say it. But then once it's out there,
Right.
then you want to tell me that I need to cover it up. Now I'm not understanding.
Mm.
So only the man can talk about how sexy I am, but
Right.
I can't show. Now, this is just me as a Christian woman. I just don't think everything needs to be on a display as she did it. I still think in some ways she was very tasteful. I love the song, so I'm not saying anything against Meg Thee Stallion. I just think, especially with young girls, I don't need to show you. Leave something to the imagination,
I
is all
was
I'm saying.
just literally the
But
words in my head. Literally, leave something.
something, but at the same time, I can understand how it can get frustrating because a man is always saying something, but then once the woman do exactly what it is that you're saying, it's just out for the public to see, is then, oh, you need to learn like like your role and where you should
Mhm.
be and you're doing too much. And that
That's
I
annoying.
can't wrap my mind.
Right, because it's
Yes.
normalized for a man to be able to do and say whatever he wanna say, and that's just, "Oh, he's just being a guy." But I feel like even on the backhand okay, so a man he can be as explicit as he want to be. A woman should be a lady. She should be demure. She should be whatever society has said that she's supposed to be. But let's say everything
Yeah.
switches right now. The women are the explicit ones, and now some men are tapping into their femininity, and that's even like even when you switch the double standard, it's still a problem. That's why I feel like I just feel like nobody is satisfied. If you can be, if there's okay, let's say like that saying where it's like all men are the same. All men, like you said, a man could cheat and da 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 da. All men cheat. All men. We've already come to the conclusion, at least I have, that they don't. Everybody is different. Not all women are sluts. Not all women want to be a housewife. Not all men want to be the head of their household. God save us. And not all men, not all men all they care about is sex. It's just all different. And I just feel like as soon as we get to a point where society just understands that we are all human beings that have the same desires, it's just supposed to be displayed differently because I am a lady, I guess. That I feel like once we get that
Right.
out the way, it'll be a lot easier to accept because at the end of the day, who y'all having the sex with? Like, how you gonna sit here and say, men, so this, that? Yeah, y'all are having sex with the women. Y'all doing it together. So why is it a problem that I want to talk about it? I'm confused. I don't get it.
I don't
Now,
yeah. I n I never understand it, but when Bree and I was having a conversation, he was just like he was like, "Well, it's different because, like, y'all are allowing people inside of you." And I was like, "Okay, I can see that." But then I
no,
was just
I
like,
didn't.
like, you are entering that's like just entering anybody's house any given time and just raw dogging everybody's toilet,
But
whether they cleaned it or not.
What's the difference between me allowing you
Because
inside
to
of
s
me versus
I've heard this more than once because 'cause they're like, something is I don't know why they think like like their stuff is outside, but everything for us is like internal. And so when he said it, I kinda understood where he was coming from with his point of view, but I was like, "Okay, so let's say a woman gets to a point where she no longer trusts men, right? And so she has what we tend to say, oh, she's just having her little face. She's just out here experimenting. She just out here figuring it out and she don't trust nobody. I said, I'm not gonna lie. I had my moments when I said, you know what? Niggas ain't sorry. That's exactly what I was saying. I say, but the only difference is when I was and we talked about this in another episode when I quote unquote had this it was not a phase,
girl,
y'all, because it
please.
one day. But once I attempted to like really not give a care, it was up to me to decide that. I say, but some women do get broken in the process and they do get their feelings hurt. And I think that is what takes them to this level of, I'm just going to do it. But some women love sex. So I don't know why it's so hard and upsetting for men to be like, oh, she like this and she like that. But then y'all want to do the craziest stuff in the bedroom anyways. Like, which one do you want? Do you want
But
Martha?
to but to justify it by saying it's different because I'm allowing somebody inside of me. Okay, well, you're just as nasty because just yesterday you was over at Susie's house and you went inside of her. So I'm not understanding what's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all try to
Yeah.
make it make sense and it just doesn't. In my opinion, it just makes no sense. It doesn't matter how it was done. Y'all both laid there nasty, you know. All the juices was everywhere, whatever y'all had going on. Look, sorry, mom and daddy, y'all. They had sex before. Hello. But I just I just don't understand why it's justified for a man to do it. And granted, I do believe like, okay, maybe I don't. Because I was finna contradict myself and be like if a woman was to go out, and like I said just yesterday, the nigga could be at such and such house. If I and I'm just speaking for my friends, because I don't care what nobody else got going on. Me, my friends, that's it. My family, that's it. If my friend called me Friday
Mhm.
and said, I'm going to Trey house, and then called me on Saturday telling me that she going to Pookie
Larry
house,
house.
I'm going to judge her. I am. I truly am. But if so that's like, okay, if Bria or Kayla caught me saying that, okay, I'm judging you because you what? You was just but at the same time, this is me. Somebody I don't care about the double standard. Oops, sorry. If Cam called me, sorry, Cam. I'm not saying Cam is doing this. I don't know what Cam got going on in his relationships or whatever. Anybody, if one of my male friends call me and say, I was just at Shaquita house Friday, but now I'm going to Tory house. Look, you're dirty too because I just don't understand. So like, I'm not finna sit there and say, but if he called his homeboy might agree. Oh boy, like you was just that, like you so crazy. But I just
They
feel
always
like,
agree.
yeah, they always because they both retarded. But I just feel like if we all just if we all just took it for what it is, that what you are doing, no matter your gender, is nasty. Not only is it nasty, but we ain't supposed to be having sex, y'all. Hey, did I do it before I was married? Yes, we done talked about this before, but I stopped, okay? Because the Lord said stop. So I stopped until I got married. But I do just believe, like, it's just no matter how you try to flip it, make the story make sense to you, y'all both nasty.
But
And
I
y'all
feel like
both need to
women
go
and
get
men
checked.
but I feel like women and men both do it, which is why this is such an interesting topic to me because sometimes, like, say the woman is acting a particular way, right? Some Now I don't do it no more because then I just be like, you need to pray about it. But back then I'd be like, you need to get some because you was uptight. Like, what's going on? Like what?
Oh, yeah.
So it's almost like we're insinuating, like you need to go find Larry or Pookie, do what
Mm.
you got to do, and then come back with a better attitude. And it's like that's not the answer to to whatever it is that you have going on. But then at the same time, most men don't want to have sex with virgins because they feel like they have no experience. But then you also don't want the girl to have screwed everybody, and then that be confusing me because it's just like what like and I feel like that's why it's so hard being a woman because it's like like you can't tell me not to do something. It's like you finding this happy medium but it's mine. And if I wanted to screw 8 niggas before I decided to do XYZ, like maybe that's my business. But I think it's
Right.
sometimes it's just like the things we tell each other and then how you come off when you're speaking to each gender, and then it just sounds different because I do feel like when girls are sitting around and we talk about, I don't really discuss my sex life with anybody. Now some people have said something, I'd be like, girl, that's a personal problem because I don't deal with those things.
Right.
But I
Sorry to
do
that
feel
girl.
like when right, kudos to you. But I do feel like sometimes we look at each other and when we're in our like girls with the girls, then you're like, okay. And then even then, if you like, oh, she done had oral sex or she swallowed or she did X, Y, and Z, like we will judge each other depending on whether or not you've done it. If that's your ministry, whatever. But with the guys, it's like she could have been hanging from the damn rooftop. And y'all is like, yeah, that's a wild one. You want to pass her to the next one.
Yeah. But oh,
And
bro,
I
don't think. Okay, so you that want to have the double standards, and then you want to take her and pass it to the next one, but then come back and call her a hoe. I'm confused. My thing is, yes, maybe she is because she went. But my thing is, why bring up the double standard when y'all are part of the problem that this is a thing, anyways? Like, why? I just don't understand.
it,
Passing
with that
the
one.
girl, huh?
But what if she was only like that with that one guy? Because I've had some people who have had their first time and they like it. In my opinion, y'all. This is again my opinion. I was like, you did way too much. How you do all that on the first your first time? Like
Oh
missionary, it's
Lord,
totally fine.
she ain't saving
Maybe you
nothing.
and then but what I think sometimes the girl, okay, we have sexual urges too. So if she does and she's doing that with you and then you put her on blast to everybody, does that then make
Oh.
And then that's why I be like, see, and then we don't do nothing. Then when we don't do nothing, then it's the girl who don't do nothing. Like,
Dang if
don't.
you do,
Why do
dang
you?
if you don't.
I want to pick too. Shoot.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I don't know. I just feel like because I've never experienced oh, maybe that's why. Okay, maybe it's starting to all come full circle, y'all. Me and my friends will never sit in each other's face and say, "Hey, girl, look, I had sex with Trey yesterday, and girl, it was good. You should give it a try."
Oh,
I'm not doing that, but that's what men do.
that's
So
nasty.
I just feel like, so my thing is what irritates me about the topic is that if a woman were to do that, right, she will
Mm-hmm.
be labeled as something that the man should
And God,
also be labeled, right?
no,
Ungodly. But the man can, I don't understand. But the thing is, some of the things that they do, I feel like most women never will do. But as soon as you do that one little thing that a nigga done did, now I'm the worst thing walking. I mean, not me. I ain't never did nothing. This ain't got nothing to do with me. But I just have to clarify. Generally speaking, okay?
yes,
I don't know. I just feel like it's a very maybe we did okay, and that's why Brittany said we will have to have a part 2 to this because I definitely feel like we need a male's perspective in this conversation right now. Because right now, I just
for
feel like
sure.
it's stupid, and I feel like if everybody just live according to the Bible, we'll all be fine. If
No,
everybody just
for
keep
real.
their things in their clothes, we'll be
That
better
part.
off.
But I will say this too, because then I was, and all of this is this topic, all of this played off of Brie because we just kept jumping. And Breon's is really good at stuff like this because he'll say something, which is kind of from a guy's perspective, but he's also very like respectful, if you know what I mean. Like I've met some
Mhm.
dudes that's just like, nah, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. But he can understand like my point of view, and then he'll still just say, but Brittany, it's a double standard. Like, I'm sorry. That's just what it is. He not going back and forth. He's not mad about it. But we ended up going kind of left because, of course, we have 2 girls and now I'm having a boy. And for him, his whole thing this whole time, because he's had 2 girls, has been, well, I have to teach him to do this and teach him how to defend themselves. And I don't want them to be the hoe in the school, and they need to know how to, protect themselves. And you ain't gotta, a guy gonna say this, you ain't gotta do X, Y, and Z. But then now that we having a boy, and I know we kind of like joking as we're talking, but then he'll be like, I already know when you go in there and talk to him, you gonna say this, and then I'm gonna have to come back behind you and be like, did you wrap it up though? And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't do that. You can't
Right.
do
Don't
that.
do that.
So
See?
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So that's interesting. And so we've had conversations like, when it comes to us talking about at least that topic, sex, with our kids as they get older. Of course, we don't need to do it now. But as they get older, what would that look like for us? And luckily we communicate pretty well. So if I'm already having a conversation or something is coming up with Brielle or Breland, like he knows it. Whether or not I'm leading that conversation or speaking to them one-on-one or we speaking to them together, we know what's going on. But to me, that was even interesting because now I'm like, well, what do I do when my son, is doing X, Y, Z? I can only imagine
Mhm.
because again, I'm what I think guys do. Like if he in the bathroom too long, but you come out still stinking, I'm immediately thinking that you done used up somebody's Diddy baby oil. Cause what are you doing? Get
Please
that
don't.
water bill.
My nephew would not be doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, acting like dark.
Please don't put that on
So
him.
right. So it's just interesting things like that. It's just like, well, will I keep this double standard of being like, well, my son has to experience things and not be so uptight, but I'm like really
Does he?
uptight with my girls. Will I keep
That's the
like
no.
the same
Uh-uh.
energy?
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we done
Maybe
cracked the
that's the problem.
code. If you are no, if you are a parent and you have a boy and you don't even have to have both, a boy or a girl, and you're parenting your son to like be like, oh, it's okay to not be a H word, but to let me tell you more about sex because I know that you're probably gonna be more prone to do it. Whereas
Mhm.
your daughter, you be like, don't do it, you end up pregnant. But see, you can't, and that's where the double standard begins. We tell the young men that it's okay as long as you strap it up. But then we tell the girls, don't do it. And I'm not saying that,
Oh,
okay, well, just tell the girls to go out there and have sex. I'm not saying that either. No kids should be having sex. I'm just saying that's where the problem started.
educate.
Yeah, yeah, educating them in 2 different spaces. So now when the daughter who has been taught this all her life that, "Oh, I'm not supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z because I'm a girl," you know? Now that she grown and now she
Yeah.
like, "You know what? I'm sick of people trying to tell me what to do. It's my body. It's my choice. I can do what I want." Blah, 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 blah. Now she's doing what the boys is doing, and oh, she's doing too much. She's this, she's that. See, if we woulda nipped it in the bud when they was a kid, it would have been all right. But
It been
but
better.
the other downside to that, even if you and I'm not gonna say even if you raise your child and tell them the truth on both sides, because society has a way or the world has a way of teaching you and exposing you to different things anyways. But that's why I'm saying if you at home can have that conversation with your son and your daughter and be like, hey, the world gonna say that it's okay for you to be a because you're a boy. The girls. The world gonna say you shouldn't be that because you a girl. Hey, both of y'all, I ain't raising no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry for cussing, but I'm not doing it. Hey, I don't care if you're a boy, a girl, n-
Yeah.
not up in this dancery.
The
I just I don't know. But I get it at the same time because it's just like Bree saying, like, you kinda have to tell your son these things. Cause like I keep saying, that's how the world is. But at the same time, y'all,
yeah.
we can be the change.
Right.
I don't know. I don't got no son.
Michael Jackson in the mirror.
Yes. You gotta be the change, y'all.
But I think it can go for anything. I think majority of this conversation has been around like sex because I feel like that's the biggest double standard that stands is on sex. But I think it
Yeah.
go for how you dress as well because I mean we can kind of do anything. Like I can literally wear J's and a hoodie and be cute, put my little hoops in,
Well,
and
can
I
you
can put
though?
on heels
No, because you could go
because I can
out,
do both.
but no, Brittany, you can. You can. But now here go the world.
Yeah.
You go out in your J's for a week straight, they gonna say, "Oh yeah, I finna turn her out. Look, I got me one." Then they think you was a stud or something. I don't know, but
Oh
then,
Lord.
but on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know. Cause I've had
And
people come
then
up to me because I don't like, and when I was younger, I didn't dress up like that. Like I did not want to wear the skirt. I didn't. So this girl
yeah.
asked like trying to hit on me, and I'm like, girl, please back
Right.
up immediately. I don't even get down like that. So it's just like I'm just like, don't want to do that. But so it's like that. I guess that's what you're. Oh, conversations like this just get my mind all in the I'm all over the place. Cause like you're saying, like,
You feel like
girl,
you got a little circle moment, and then her circle just
unravels.
discombobulated.
I am
It's just
discombobulated. One of this topic is very like, cause if a man come out with a skirt on, you're like, what the heck? But like you said, excuse
yeah,
me, a girl can walk out with her sweatpants on and it be just fine. But I just feel
yeah,
like if the boys wear the J's and I don't know, cause I got sweatpants on right now.
right,
And
and that
I don't know. And that's why double standards are so annoying. Cause why can't I just do what I want to do? Granted, hey, Now that's a conversation you need to nip in the bud if you got a son. You're not wearing a skirt, brother. Sorry.
Mm. No, the Barbies, cause Bree has been buying these little trinket things for Brielle, and of course we've been like, "Hey, when the baby come, you know, make sure y'all little stuff gets put up because when he starts moving, you know, he could choke on them." But at the same time, I'm like, he's literally the only boy, you know? So,
Mhm.
I mean, we plan to get him dinosaurs and everything, but of course he's probably gonna play with his sisters. I mean, him and Breland will only be 4 years apart, so I can definitely see a dinosaur Barbie doll tea party happening at some point. And it's just like, do I stop him from playing tea party if he has his dinosaurs, or do I
Oh,
automatically assume? And then so
maybe
it's
not
just
if they
like
playing with his
it's
sister.
a thing. Yeah, it's a tough thing, but for me, I'm sorry, my son is not playing with Barbies. He can play with every action figure, Hot Wheels, whatever he want to do. But if he in there literally in there
I don't
trying to
even
figure out how to put
care if the
lipstick
Barbie
on a doll,
I don't even care if the Barbie is Ken. No. Go get Spider-Man.
and come back, and we totally fine with that.
I don't know.
And it's my parenting style. And I mention it though because as we talk about double standards, you were just saying like the guy can cook, right? So there's a lady on Instagram who has a son, and she bought a full blown kitchen set because he likes to cook. He's really tiny. He's very young, but he likes to cook. So of course, seeing him with a kitchen set in his room is like, why your son got a kitchen
Oh,
set? And it's
you
like,
gotta eat.
but he's cooking in the big kitchen with his mom from time to time, but then she bought the kitchen set for him to play with as well. And I
Mm,
honestly was like, that is a little odd. It was totally fine when he was in the big kitchen helping, but then when I
yeah.
saw him playing on the little kitchen set, for a quick second, it made me go, what made her buy him a kitchen set? So I went through her feed, and then that's how I kind of got the full picture. But I was just like, okay, I don't think that's bad. But then I also saw this other lady. Now she has 4 boys, and she specifically bought a baby doll for I think he's the third. So he's the third son, and then there's the little one. Well, because he watched his mom carry the baby, right? Taking care of the baby, he wanted his own baby. So she bought him a doll, and I just couldn't
First of all,
I couldn't put it
he's a
together.
child. He shouldn't want a baby. I mean, well, I guess like that's a double standard because you give little girls the baby dolls all the time. Look, I don't know. Don't ask me nothing.
I
I
mean,
don't know. But I
listen,
just feel
and
like
like if Brielle or Breland ever tried to put it in their stomach, I'm like, don't do that.
yeah.
That's
That's what I
just
was
me.
gonna say.
Yeah,
Maybe at some point you just have to say like, "Mommy's not buying you a baby because one, this is mommy's baby. Mommy can have babies. You can't.
yeah,
Whenever you get
yeah,
old enough and you get married and your wife has a baby, then that's the baby you play with. But I'm not buying you a
yeah,
baby. It's
yeah.
simple. He gonna cry, do whatever he gotta do. I don't know, but when he get old enough, he can
Be
babysit.
nice,
Boom, there go your baby.
right? And this is also coming from Breland, who just last night, she was like, Mama, your stomach's gotten bigger. And I was like, oh, I love you too, Breland. And then she goes, so that's because the baby's in there and the baby's getting bigger. And I said, yes. And then she said, so you're pregnant. And I said, yes. And then she goes, I want to be pregnant too. And I said, you can. But guess how old mama is? And she said, how old are you? And I said, 36. I said, so when you turn 36, you
You
can
get
give it a
pregnant.
try. But until
Mhm.
then, no big stomachs for you. And that was the end of the
Exactly.
conversation. And I understand kids are just mimicking the things that they see. But I think coming back to our full circle moment, maybe we gonna close it up for a little bit, is
Child.
that all of this really is boiling down to educating your kids. And then also finding your circle of friends where y'all can kind of help hold each other accountable, because there are going to be times where you may have that one friend that they just had a wild night, bro. And am
Well,
I
my baby
slightly
away.
judging? Yes. But I'm also going to be the friend to be like, okay, like, where did that come from? What you mean you had 2 niggas last night? Stop.
Oh,
What's happening? You know, like, have these conversations with your friends other than just being like, "Oh, you nasty. I would never. You could, da 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 da." It's just like if this is where she gonna be at for a while, you're just praying for her and holding her hand. I don't want to say you literally are holding her hand like, yeah, I'm gonna drive you over there to see him tonight. No, don't do that. We're not accomplish. We're not
mm,
helping you keep doing this.
no.
But maybe we just have to kind of keep talking to each other, even when you're in those situations of feeling like you don't know which way to go either. Because I've been there, being a little confused. Do I
I
want to
think
just go all out, forget it, or do I just want to kind of stay a little wholesome?
you got
Keep it
to
for my
stay whole.
husband.
You got to stay committed to your morals and your standards, y'all. Don't, cause the world, like I said before, the world that we live in is already very, very tainted. So you have to have something that keeps you grounded, right? So it's like, no
Yeah.
matter if they're trying to normalize a woman having multiple partners or whatever the case may be and making it okay because that's what men do, at the end of the day, none of y'all should be doing it. And I'm standing on that because you're nasty. Nasty, nasty down. And I just I just don't understand why a girl or a man would wanna do that to themselves. You need to have some morals, you need to have some standards, and you need to have some self-respect. Tired of y'all.
Yeah.
I'm just sick of
Because
it.
if the truth stands that women can have a very high libido or sex drive like men does, that doesn't mean I have to screw everything. I can definitely just be screwing this one guy as much as I see fit. And that should be fine for the guy as well as the woman to
Right.
be able to do that together. I think where it boils down to is when you come down to the double standard and the guy is not mature enough or ready to settle down and you're doing these things with him and vice versa. Sometimes a woman isn't mature enough or she's been through some things and then she's like, "Nah, I'm good. I just want to have a good time." Bull crap. So oh, excuse me. I feel like everybody just
Poor
needs
lady.
to listen, okay? Not my body, his. I feel like everybody just needs to be honest when you are taking these leaps or like changing something about yourself or whatever the case may be. Like, be honest about what that change is and why you're doing it or why you're deciding to put yourself out that way. If it's because, oh, everybody's doing it, ain't no man gonna keep me in the box. Well, what man in your life done told you what box you gonna be in? So if you listening to Sexy Red, she going through some things. Let her figure that out. Don't do it because she doing it.
'Cause we are not
And
looking for the hoe.
that part. And I understand it because we grew up with Trina and now now,
Girl,
and then
Trina was something else.
so I'm not saying like it's horrible because clearly we have listened to some music that's like
Girl.
probably shouldn't have been listening to. But the music shouldn't influence you to want to act like them. Like, I've never done what Trina said in that song, and it was a lot.
Exactly. She's literally calling herself the H word. So look, hey,
Yeah.
I more power to you, Trina, but I ain't doing it. So I just feel like that's why I'm saying, despite what you may have seen around you, despite what somebody else got going on in your circle, whatever the case may be, baby, stay grounded in something. Because you cannot,
Yeah.
men and women, you cannot continuously be trying to find, because I've been in that situation of you feel so, maybe you feel so low about, okay, now I'm finna lie. But feel so low about yourself. Maybe I did feel low about myself because ain't no way in my right mind I would do some stuff like that now. Not saying I was out here, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is sometimes you will allow certain things in your life to happen because of your circumstances. So you have to
Yeah.
find something, and it can't be sexual. It can't be, drugs, whatever the case may be. You have to find something else outside of the things that within this world to keep you grounded in what it is, because I feel as though even if you that's a season that you're in your life right now, that's not where you're trying to end up. So why spend this whole season having sex with Billy Bob and Joe when you're just prolonging the whole process? So if that's what you're in and that's what whole phase is coming into play in your life, you got some things to figure out. But having sex with all the men is not gonna fix you. And for the men,
Yeah.
having sex with all those women to build your own ego up because you feel like that makes you look like the man, you're stupid, you're dirty, you're gonna end up with a child that you don't even want, and that poor baby, and that poor girl, and everybody has to suffer from your sins.
Whoa.
I'm done.
She just be dropping the Bible on y'all head.
Because we got to do better.
But I was hoping you was gonna say something to the men because I think a lot, as we talk
Oh
about
yeah.
double standards, a lot of this could stay on the girls. Like you shouldn't treat yourself like that, or have respect for yourself. And then nobody tells the guys to have respect for themselves.
You
And
too.
that is something Brie and I have talked about because Brie was like, "Don't be making him soft," and I said, I think in this world too, guys aren't allowed to show their emotions. So I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling him to go outside and cry in public. I mean, if
Right.
that's something that made him emotional and there are some things in this world that something happens and you may cry. Okay, fine. But I said, but I'm not fit to have him come home in his safe space. And if there's something personal he wants to talk about, he feels like he can't let those emotions flow with us at home. So
Mhm.
I do feel like as we continuously go back and forth on like these double standards and what they mean, especially when we're talking about our babies, it does start at home. You cannot have one conversation with one gender of your, children and then turn around and have a completely different one. And then really not even expect them not to know that y'all having different conversations with each other because they're gonna know like what their sister and brother is or isn't doing
Mhm.
and what's being said on the other side. So I kind of feel like I do want to keep it as straightforward with all of my kids, regardless of their gender. And make sure that they're always being respectful other than themselves because I think some men too do go out and have more sex because you're in the group with other men who are saying, "Oh yeah, I done already, had sex with 3 or 4," and then you like, "I ain't done nothing." And then now you're rushing to go try and find the first girl who will say yes to you,
Mhm.
and you not ready. Like, just it's okay.
Wow.
Stay a virgin. You know?
Right.
Chill out.
I think
People got nowadays. I mean, they've been having stuff, but I'm just saying, like just
girl,
slow down. Everybody slow down.
slow down. Stop. Actually, just stop. So yeah,
I gotta
I
fix.
just feel um I just feel like I keep saying, it's just a thing of people morals and standards can take you a long way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like, cause like more boys or that end up being men, they were at one point exposed to more. So like, cause you said like having those siblings, we didn't grow up with the only male that was in our house was our daddy and the dog. So we didn't have like a brother there in the house so to compare it to, but I've heard it and it'll be like, or you've seen it on TV where it's like, well, why can't Jake stay out later than me? And it's just
Yeah.
like, so even stuff like that, it's just like, and who knows what Jake out there doing? Jake need to come home too. All right, telling y'all,
State Farm.
I ain't
Come back to
okay. You in your khakis, come to this house. And I'ma see on that Ring camera. I ain't playing. Cause I just feel like, you think you're allowing them to grow and mature and all these things, but it's a time for those things. Cause
Yeah.
there's no reason why there's kids that are 12, 13. Baby, I used to work at a middle school, and granted, I know that kids, they see stuff, especially now with social media, all the things. But I'm
Mhm.
walking in the hallway, and the little boy and the little girl kissing in the look. I just go to class. It really, that was my first time experiencing that, and I've been a teacher for like 6 years. That was my first time experiencing kids at school kissing and doing. And I know that they do it. That's not what I'm saying, but at the same time, it's just like Jesus.
At 12?
Go find you some, yes. And
Dang,
it's
I
just
ain't had my
like,
first since 11th grade.
but that's why, and maybe we're coming because we were, I guess you would call late bloomers. So I wasn't out here. I didn't have sex until later into my almost graduating high school and stuff like that too. But It's
Yeah,
just like, I just I
that's
don't I don't know, and I feel like, and that's why we should having it starts at home, monitor with your kid. Now you can't stop them from saying everything in the world, that's not what I'm saying. But social media, they all on there. Which what Megan said, pop your for your man, pop your that's all they seeing on social media. And now they thinking they a lover girl because they popping that for their man. Look, no. You're gonna give me that
yeah, you're not even
phone,
a man. Sit down.
Debbie Cakes. Sit down. Because you finna get piss me off. And I just don't understand. And so that goes back to the episode that we had with mama of having a parent. I'm not saying to be so straightforward that you have to expose them to too much at too early of an age, but tell them exactly what it is. Tell them exactly how it is. I'm not raising, no, I'm telling y'all. You hear she hearing me. I ain't playing. They'll come back after that curfew if you want to. Okay, and let me hear you in this hallway. Look, Imma talk to her off camera, but what y'all done with? Cause 'Cause I'm done.
I'm a
I just
toddler.
I just can't. I just can't.
I
I
think
don't know.
I think I'm a I think especially with me having a son, already having girls, I think I'll be done with sticking to the standard and thinking that I have to change something just because I'm having a boy. Nothing changes. I want all my kids to be respectful, and I also want them to know what it is to respect themselves at the end of the day. And that
Right.
doesn't mean that you go out here and do something because somebody said they've already done it. Well, kudos to you.
Whoop-de-doo.
But I'm not. Yeah, whoop-de-doo.
Right. And it doesn't mean you're raising 2 girls and now you're finna raise a boy. Obviously, teaching him things that a man should know. Hello. Teaching them that a
Yeah,
woman should know. Hello. But at the end of the day, when it comes to them double standards, that neither one of y'all doing it. Sorry. And I ain't
that
got
part.
no son. And I don't know if the Lord got it in the cards for me to have a son. But I ain't gonna lie, after having this conversation, God knew what he was doing when he gave me a girl. I just feel like that'll be a lot easier. I don't know. I just feel like it may be a little easier. I don't know. Maybe because 'cause I'm a girl. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause
But
you've
I
been
feel like
yeah.
yeah. But I don't even know what I could say I will be done with because I don't have a son to raise. I just feel like,
As an adult woman and going through double standards yourself, like, what would you be done with?
mm, because I was gonna say living your life unapologetically and, not despite what somebody may feel, but I also wanna just continue to keep clarifying, if you're doing something that's just bad, that is not, "Oh, this is my life." Yeah, that is your
Yeah.
life. Do better with your life. You only get one of them, baby. Don't spend it
Thank
doing all the things that you shouldn't be doing. So I just feel
you.
like I don't that's what I'm saying. I don't know exactly what I could be doing. Cause I don't do nothing too wild where I feel like somebody got a double standard. Me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like,
Well, I think just as adults not to judge each other. That's just I
oh
mean, we always say
yeah.
educate the kids. You're never too old to be educated. Like, you can give give it sound advice to your adult friends if you feel like they're doing something that, 1, may be out of the ordinary for them, or 2, just trying to understand where they may be coming from if they are taking a path that would kinda lead to a little bit of destruction for them. But not looking at it like because you're a woman, you should be keeping it clean. No, you should be keeping it clean just because your body is a temple. So instead of putting the gender factor on it, maybe we should be putting it on the fact that God made
God,
you specifically this way, and you want to be able to respect what it is that He has given you. So let's just stop kind of putting a gender role on it and just be respectful in general.
that part. Okay. Cause you ain't doing it right. Just cause you ain't doing it don't mean that you can go judge the next person for doing it either.
That part.
'Cause you ain't no
Because
saint
if you
either,
is,
sister. Yeah. Cause if that's what you was doing, you are done after this episode. But we gonna come back with a part 2 with the men's because I got to know. But
yeah,
that's
this would be good. Yeah,
I just
good
feel
to
like there's so much more that could be said, I guess, because we are
mhm.
2 not only are we 2 women, but we 2 women that was raised by the same people. I'm not saying that her morals and standards are exactly like mine, but they ain't too far away.
No,
They pretty much the same.
no. She could say something, I'd be like, "Nah, that's about right. That make a lot of sense
Right,
to me."
right. They pretty much same. So maybe just having some
Yeah,
extra feedback from somebody else would be very especially a male. That would be great. And we gonna ask
yeah,
y'all because we're just trying to get in the habit, but if there's anything that y'all would like to add to the conversation, put it in the comments, okay? Think
yeah.
about
Drop
it.
it below so we can keep this conversation going.
Yes, because clearly I was all over the place. I ain't know where to go. I started to talk about gender roles. I don't know what's going on. But
They
yes,
all
I
blend
think it
together.
ended up yeah, I feel like a lot of topics happen like that for me, but I feel like it came to like Brittany said, it came full circle towards the end. I feel like it was pretty
Yeah.
good. And I feel like I like that
So
conversation.
yeah. So we gonna see y'all. Imma let her
I'm
do
gonna
it
do my
because she
stuff.
say every time I say it wrong.
Thank you. You're done. Thanks. Well, thank y'all for tuning in to the You're Done podcast. We're gonna see y'all at the same time next week. Peace. I'll holla at y'all. Dang.
Sorry if I cut you off, but we was getting up to 50 minutes, and I didn't want the camera to
Remember,
start
it's
blinking.
fine.
Okay.
Just shout in it.
That was a good one.